A small crowd can be really great in the summertime. As many of you know, Broad Circle is all about money and power for women, driving revenue, growing capital. And even though it's June 5th, you would think that it's full-blown summer already. One thing I've noticed is that in my conversations over the last week, I'm thinking it's June. I want to make sure my revenue, the private equity guy today, and he sat down and he said, I'm so glad it's summer. And as Eileen will tell you, it's not really summer till June 21st. So he proceeded to tell me about his vacation in June, his week off in July, his trip to Italy in August. And by the time we were talking about his vacations, we really had no time to talk about deals and business and revenue. So one thing that I really think is interesting about the summer is that you really only have to show up to make things happen. Because look at the event tonight. I mean, a lot of people did not show up. We've got this terrific panel, right? So I think in the summer, all you need to do is show up, to not let your revenue go on vacation. So continue to network, continue to have meetings, continue to make calls, and you'll just get all the opportunities because other people will be in Hawaii, off for the 4th of July, in Italy, So I'm planning on showing up all summer, except for a little bit of time in August. So we do have other events this summer. A great one, which Tracy Williams is leading in July, which is crisis in the C-suite. And so we're going to have a great panel talking about how you handle crisis communication. I also wanted to draw your attention to 2 events that we're planning for the fall. One is Women Exploring Strategic Alternatives. So we've got a great group of women that have either sold companies, taken companies public. We're going to have also a very terrific moderator co-sponsor deal on that panel that will be revealed soon. And then we also have another fun event in the fall, which is, are the capital markets friendly to women? So we're going to have women who have taken companies public, pulled offerings, those kinds of scenarios with women who are leading companies.
We are a partner for finance at Latham, and we are delighted to sponsor this event. It's a great organization. It's a fantastic panel, I have to say. Over the years, I've mentored many women at Latham, and I am so happy to see women excel as lawyers. It's clearly a group of women here who have excelled, and if you read their bios, you will be very impressed with this group here. I think that being general counsel is a very challenging position. Not only do you have to answer to the CEO, you have to answer to a board of directors. You need to lead a team of lawyers who specialize in diverse areas, in legal areas that you may not know anything about. You need to know a lot about your business and your industry, and you also have to manage risk. That is quite a set of skills that I know these women have developed. So we all look forward to hearing what they do and their views on what it's like to be a general counsel. Welcome.
I'll stand up here. I am honored to be moderating this panel. There's a group of truly amazing women. I'll preview just a little bit their companies before turning over to questions for them. I'm a securities litigation partner, by the way, with Latham Watkins. I have offices in Los Angeles and in Orange County, so I deal with disputes, especially public company disputes, and all of these ladies have experienced both public and private company disputes that are kind of in my wheelhouse. This is an interesting group in that respect. We'll hear about that. At the end of the table, Jennifer Painter is General Counsel for MRV Communications, which she'll tell us about. That's a communications company that's engaged in optical communications and equipment sales all over the world, and it's been through some really tough times that Jennifer has led them through. And how did she do it? How did she drive revenue and preserve value for investors? Liz Greenwood is General Counsel of Tennenbaum Partners, which is a private investment company, and it's got, for your website, $4.5 billion billion under management at this point. It invests in a lot of companies. It also operates a business development company that is publicly regulated, so she's got a lot on her plate. Denise Jackson is General Counsel of a New York Stock Exchange trading company called AMN Healthcare. It's in the business of providing healthcare workforce professionals to hospitals and other government facilities, community health centers. Denise's company is on the trajectory up, and she's in a very regulated industry, healthcare, Obamacare. She's got a lot on her plate. Now, I'm not going to mispronounce her name.
TARINI.
TARINI. I'm just not even going to do it because I'll mess it up. It's General Counsel of On Assignment, and that's a publicly traded company on NASDAQ. This is also a professional services staffing company, and it's kind of remarkable in that she'll tell you about the fact that they acquired another company this year that's bigger than they are. So she's got her hands full integrating more than it looks like. Are you solo? Do you have a team that works for you? Who do you report to? Just sort of, how do you fit in the? What's your general counsel's job like? And that'll help us put what you do in perspective. Do you want to start, Jennifer?
Sure. I'm Jen Painter, and I have a staff of 1 attorney, 1 paralegal, and lots of outside counsel who help out with all sorts of various matters.
All right, I'm Liz Greenwood at Tennenbaum. We have,
Can you hear?
No.
We need to
Here, let's see. Can you hear now?
Yes.
Hi, okay. I'm at Tennenbaum Capital Partners. We have about 80 employees total. I'm general counsel. I have an assistant general counsel and a compliance manager. In addition, we have a slew of people who are recovering attorneys. So they've all shifted over to the business side, but they kind of have a sense of what legal is all about. So it's kind of an interesting combination in that sense.
And AMN Healthcare has about 1,800 corporate employees, about 5,000 healthcare professionals. On my legal team, there are 5 other attorneys and 6 para-professionals. And then I'm also responsible for risk management, which has another 7 people, and corporate audit services, which has another 8. So working holistically to manage that risk and legal function.
As a staffing company, we have a number of contracts managers and administrators because we're a contract-intensive business. We have a handful of other lawyers, including the company we just acquired has a general counsel, but we often refer to our internal clients as our partners, and we like to consider ourselves business enablers and really try to partner with our internal clients.
In order to advise the client, the company, give it the best, help it drive revenue without, falling into legal problems.
And they didn't think they needed a full-time lawyer. So they wanted a business partner. And so I came on board because that was something that interested me as well. And of course, within a year, not only was I a full-time lawyer, but I hired another full-time lawyer. So they clearly needed a lawyer. But in terms of having that seat at the table, I was very well positioned from the outset. And you have to come in and really understand the business, learn the business. So a lot of what I did that first year was really listen and partner, as starting to saying with the business folks, understand what their concerns were, because they had not worked with an in-house legal department either. So it was really learning the business from them and then adding what value I could bring. And through the years, now it's just seamless. It was a bit of a forced exercise at the beginning. But now the legal department, including myself, is fully integrated. So we're part of strategic planning, the enterprise risk management. We have that seat at the table as we're developing the strategic, both annual goals and the long-term goals.
So from your perspective, Jennifer, is it difficult to be heard at the strategic table? How do you fit in with the executives?
Well, I had the same benefit Denise did. I was the first attorney there, but I came in with a little bit of a different perspective. The company had been publicly traded NASDAQ company for 20 years, had had some issues with stock option backdating and various things, and was told they had to have a general counsel, the CEO, et cetera, was. And so they weren't necessarily happy to see me there. But you know what, they actually ended up working very well, and I got to help define my role. And you know, I did get to be in all the business meetings, and I think that's hugely critical to not be the person who gets a contract at the end of the day, but is in there from the beginning, is in with you're part of the general management team, you know, with the CFO and with the CEO, and so you're sitting there on all the calls. We have various business units around the world, and so I know what their business is, I know what their financial situation is, and that's critical for me to be able to do my job. And without that, I don't know how a general counsel could function.
Most of them actually don't want to do something illegal. They just don't understand the value. And in this market, for a registered investment advisor like Tennenbaum Capital Partners, the investors understand the value, and the investors are driving the conversation and asking what is going on with legal and compliance, where are your policies and procedures. We had a large existing investor just in January that said, they announced, we're coming into your office to do an audit, and it's becoming more common that the investors are doing this. And they sent 3 people, they spent 3 days in our office going over everything. They were matching up our marketing presentations with our actual performance. They were really digging down in the details. And about a month after they left, they called and they said they'd like to place an additional $40 million in our firm. Yeah, it was, you know, our performance and our strategy could be wonderful. But if we didn't do well in that compliance legal audit that they did, there's no way they would have been placing that money with us. So anybody who in this market, post-Madoff, post-financial crisis, does not recognize that legal and compliance is one of the factors that the investors are looking at is missing the boat, and they're going to be left behind.
So, Tarni, similar question to you. If you ever feel like the legal function is at odds with the business goals, have you felt that tension?
Well, we're fortunate in that as a staffing company, we're such a contracts-intensive business, as I mentioned, that we have moved to a marketplace where we need contracts. We were the company, we started as a small life sciences company 25 years ago, where we prided ourselves as a company which did business on a handshake. With Sarbanes-Oxley, with being a company, we've moved to having a contract. Clients require contracts depending on the industry. So we have worked really hard with our contracts department to be a business enabler. And I think we've really proven ourselves to be that, in part because they have to have a contract. We put pressure on ourselves to move, you know, with contracts administrators and paralegals to move contracts along to support the business. The other part of it, as Liz was saying, is that I think we've shown our value when it comes to defending non-competes or being aggressive with non-competes or employment agreements. So demonstrating value in terms of legal parameters.